Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. See my voice is in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune in to the Ladies in Red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. We're back with another show. It feels like a long time coming, this one, because so much seems to be coming out lately. So much is going on, on social media and whatnot and in the news. But firstly, I'll introduce you to my lovely guests, and obviously I'll start with you, Maisie. I can see you chewing away there, so I'll start with you, Maisie. Maisie, thank you so much for coming on again. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, and Happy New Year to you?
Happy New Year to you. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I've completed my first proper week. I say proper week because actually I've been teaching this week at my new job, and all's gone well. I've survived. It's Friday, so yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend. And Happy New Year. And hope you had a good Christmas as well, mate.
Yeah, I absolutely had a lovely Christmas. Nice time off from work. Came back first week as well, just like you. Just feels like reality all over again, right until next Christmas when I get the more time off apart from annual leave, of course.
Yeah, I know. That's the only thing, isn't it? I think this time now, just after New Year and Christmas night, it's depressing because you're thinking, all that build up and it's over, like in just like a blink. But Zeo, Happy New Year to you. Hope you are doing well. Hope you had a good one as well.
My Christmas wasn't so great because I was ill, but other than that, everything's great. Yeah.
How are you feeling now? Are you any better?
Yeah, I'm way better now. Good. And I haven't gone back to work yet. I think I'll go back like in the middle of next week or something, so I'm all right.
That's a good then. At least you got a bit of time to rest up and stuff, and maybe you can, like, the time that you missed out at Christmas, you can kind of make up for it now in this time you've got off, hopefully. But yeah, I'm glad to hear you're feeling better. Look, we're here to talk about United, and there's plenty to discuss. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just feeling numb right now. I've barely been on Twitter, not really watched much YouTube and that, because I just feel mentally drained. I mean, May's seen some of the stuff that's coming out this week. How are you feeling right now as a United fan?
As a United fan, you can feel nothing but down. You feel let down. You feel angry. Because you look at when the season first started, we had so much ambition, so much hope for the team, knowing the transfer window, what we did have in the summer. And then it came from all the losses, sacking Ole, bringing in Rangnick, and then it's like after 30 odd days of Rangnick being in charge, it feels like the media have turned against Rangnick, the players have turned against Rangnick, and you're hearing a lot of things like the players don't want to train after 5 p.m. because they don't want to train in the dark. You see things like they're not happy with the way Rangnick trains. You're hearing so many different things, but at the end of the day, if you're a player and you're getting so much money, just like as these Man United fan players are, you'd be more than happy to train in the dark. You're more than happy to adapt to a new training system. You see a lot of people these days, they'll be starting work in the dark and coming home in the dark. I imagine them having that kind of job, having a 12-hour job where they probably won't even see any sunlight because they're in work all day, every single day. And to be honest, having a couple of training sessions in the dark, that's not exactly going to bother people, but it just brings stuff like that. It's just bringing the whole mentality down. It's just making United fans even look and think, what player has said this? What player doesn't want to be at this club? If you don't want to be, and it gets you angry thinking, right, if you don't want to be at this club, then go away from my club. I don't want you at my club. And it just brings anger, frustration, just reading all over social media.
It does cause a division, doesn't it, Zeo, from the fans and the players? I think all these rumours circulating, like, we're kind of tarring them all with the same brush. And obviously, Fred has come out today and he said that he hasn't said anything negative. He's happy at United and not to believe everything that is in the media. And I agree with him on that. Obviously, it's Manchester United. We know it sells papers, it sells stories. And the fact that it's United, obviously, it is blown out of proportion. But it's pretty obvious and clear that it is unhappy dressing room at the minute. It is very unsettled. I think there is definitely divisions between players. But what's your thoughts on the situation? And obviously, what Fred said today, Zeo, do you agree with Fred on that?
So, I think Fred speaking from innocent Fred in his innocent circle of friends that he probably talks to, thinking, oh, nothing's going on. Everyone's nice to me. I imagine that's kind of what Fred's seen. I can't imagine Maguire or whoever it is. I'm not going to assume it's Maguire, but if it was Maguire, I can't imagine Maguire going up to Fred and saying, oh, man, Ronaldo said this to me. I don't imagine Fred's the player that you would go to talk about them things, if you get what I mean. So
Yeah.
it's like
Do you
when
think there's cliques then? So you're saying that
I
cliques?
think there is cliques, and I don't think Fred knows there's cliques probably because everyone's probably the same to Fred. Like it's when you work in certain places and you don't like someone will know you don't like them, but another person won't know that you don't like them. And I believe Fred's that type of player, so he probably thinks he is telling the truth. Well, he is. Yeah. He's telling the truth from his side. So, and I believe he hasn't complained. He doesn't seem like that player to complain, like Fred doesn't. So I believe what Fred's saying. But
you know what? I think big up to Fred though. He's the only player who's actually come out and said anything.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Exactly. I think everyone else has stayed quiet
because everyone else knows Wagwan. That's why everyone else knows Wagwan, and he's thinking, "What? Why are they saying this about us? They say like, what's going on?" And as for all the rest of it, basically exactly what Maisie said. I feel exactly the same. Like how
did frustrate me though? Did you see? I don't know if you saw it. Obviously, Fred tweeted that, but then United, the club, the official United Twitter, and then shared the Fred tweet and saying Fred talks on recent events.
What? So they're not going to say nothing themselves. Like
exactly. Only Fred said anything. They're literally just highlighting the fact that Fred has spoken that basically there is unrest in the dressing room. He isn't a part of it. Not to believe everything that you read. I was thinking, why would you draw more attention to it as a club? Like, why would you just wouldn't mention it, would you? Like, nobody wants to keep hearing this. And that frustrated me when I saw that.
Fred's not the captain. Fred's nowhere near the loudest player on our pitch. Fred sees like one of the quiet guys. Why is he the one coming out and saying it? Do you get what I mean? It's weird to me. It's weird.
Yeah, the whole situation is weird. It's stressful. As Maisie said, it makes you feel very down as a United fan. It does make you resent the players. And obviously, it's not all of them, as Fred has pointed out. It's not all of the players, but there is obviously an amount. I'm not even going to say minority because apparently it's 17 players who are unhappy at United now. And the numbers changing daily. So it obviously isn't the minority. Like I said, it's an unhappy dressing room. But I don't know about you. I've said this for a long time when ladies and red and people in the chat, if you've been subscribed and you've followed for a long time, you'll back me up on this. But I've said the mentality at the club post-Fergie just hasn't been on. It hasn't been right. Has not been right. Whenever it comes to a big occasion, we bottle it. And whenever a manager, we have like Mourinho, for example, players seem to just, I don't know, player nowadays is just managing it. And we've seen how many managers have been sacked. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here saying Ollie should still be in a job. Ollie was the right man. I'm not saying that. But my point is the players have to take some accountability. Like, you can't just sack another manager. This is obviously on the players. And I back Ralph all day. It seems to me like Ralph's come into this team and he's thought, you know what, I've got to shake things up. It's been far too cushy for far too long. And he's obviously... He wants them to train in the dark, is the rumour. Players aren't happy about it, and other stuff as well. But he's got expectations and he's got standards. And I think too many players at this club haven't been fulfilling those expectations of Manchester United and the standards of what this club should be at. And I think they've had a rude awakening. I really do. And obviously, I don't know who the players are, but names are being mentioned. Go on, Zeo.
What's funny is every fan seemed to know that when this guy, based off his reputation, was going to go in there, he was going to make them train harder. He was going to improve their fitness. He was going to do all. We all knew that was going to happen, but it's like the players are thinking, "Oh, why are we training harder? Because you're not playing good. So you brought in someone else to fix that. You have to do what he says. You have to run yourself into the ground. If you tell you to run through a brick wall to win games, that's what you have to do until you've done that and it doesn't work.
That's the basic, isn't it?
They haven't even tried it. It's like we're the only ones that knew that they were going to have to work harder now. And they're thinking, why are we working hard? I don't get it. It's really, really weird. And another thing I wanted to say, based off what you said, and I've just thought it. 17 players are unhappy. Who the hell counted that number to the exact number of 17 and went and told someone, 17 of us ain't happy? Like, just to emphasize how bad it is. Do you get what I mean? Instead of saying,
I reckon everyone sat in a circle and Ralph said, put your hands up if you're not happy. And 17 went... That's how I'm imagining it went. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. Like I say, that number changes daily as well. Like, who knows the real situation. Acid said there, I hated Jose, but even he said the players were a virus, including Pogba. To be fair, the treatment with Pogba under Jose, I didn't agree with calling him a virus. Obviously, Luke Shaw was in a similar situation as well. He had a lot of stick from Jose as well. I'm not saying Jose is a prime example, but my point is, when there's someone with a winner mentality, somebody who has got something about them, a bit of a backbone, if you want to call it, these players seem to bottle it. So obviously, Jose coming in, he's tried to instill that. He said it was his biggest achievement, getting United to second, and a lot of people laughed and got offended by that. But you have to say, looking at it now in the situation we're in, you have to agree with Jose Mais.
Smashed it.
Yeah, you really do need to agree with Jose Mourinho. And the thing is, he had so much stick from pundits, from fans, from social media saying, "What, second place? We're Manchester United. How dare you say second place is where we're at?" And you know what? When you look at all the other teams around us, you look and think, yeah, second place is actually a good achievement. When you look at the undivided dressing room under Jose Mourinho,
compared to
you
what we
look at
got
the
now.
undivided dressing. You look at the undivided dressing room now. I say second place is probably the best thing for us right now, because we're not a winning team. We haven't shown in a single season where we should have won the league. We've shown that, yes, we can win cups because we've won them under Jose and Louis van Gaal, but we haven't shown any kind of backbone to say, yeah, we're going to compete with Manchester City, we're going to compete with Liverpool and Chelsea to be the best team in England. And I think, yes, players are responsible, but you need to look at higher up, not the managers, but you need to look at the board, you need to look at the owners as well, because I even think no matter what players, what managers you get, I just feel like we're still going to always be in that same place unless we do have that fix up in the board and we do have that fix up in ownership. I feel everything is still going to remain the same until then.
Yeah, I completely agree with Mais. The mentality, it's not just, this goes way beyond the manager. I mean, we already said it's above the manager, we said it's through the board and that lot, but I think this is even deeper than that. Like, I think the mentality of the personnel that we've got in the club as well, it just isn't right. And it's not even, you can't stand here and say, oh, we know exactly what the problem is, because that's how deep it is. Like, nobody actually knows like what the problem is. There's several. Do you know what I mean? And it's like the more you dig, the more problems you find. It's so frustrating. And Nippon, thank you so much for that super chat. That's really kind of you. Said nobody's bigger than the club. If the player wants to leave, they can leave, of course. And I totally agree. Nobody's bigger than the club. Nobody should hold the club to ransom. Nippon, I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts are on the whole Lukaku situation. Actually, talking about like player power and whatnot. His comments recently, I know he's apologised, and I fully expect Lukaku now, if I'm honest, to go on like a goal streak and really shut people up. But I'll be interested to see what your thoughts on that. Thank you so much again for that super chat. I appreciate it. But yeah, obviously we've got Villa, and I think most of us have forgotten the fact that we're playing on Monday against Villa because of all this going on. I was at the Wolves game, unfortunately, the other day. Fortunately, travelled up with my cousins, who are obviously Wolves fans, my cousin and his young lad. So yeah, that journey home wasn't the most enjoyable for me. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, it's frustrating, very frustrating, and I think that's the big swerve. But obviously, there is all the news that's broken out as well this week. Obviously, Ten Hag was one that a lot of us said we would fancy to be the next manager after Ralph, if we had to choose one. Rumours are he's in the number one position to take over. In all honesty, though, and I'll start with you, Zeo, on this one. Ten Hag, looking at Manchester United right now, would you be tempted to go, or would you be thinking, you know what, I've got an amazing project here at Ajax where everything seems to be running smoothly, or do I want to go to that where I don't even know? We do not know where to even start, really, with it. Like, it's an absolute mess, isn't it?
I don't think, just based on the psychology side of it, I don't think many people should risk that job. I think it's too much of a risk. I think, yeah, it's one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest in the world. It's the biggest brand in the world, but like, after what's happened to other managers, they've been there for a period of time and it hasn't worked out for various reasons that they've said. Ralph, is his name Ralph? My brain's just gone funny. Yeah, Ralph has been there a couple of days. Like, he's been there a couple of days, and look what's happening. That makes it blatant now to us fans, everyone else looking at jobs, that it's the players. It's definitely the players and the board. It's not the manager coming in and making mistakes. Because how can you do that to someone so quickly? Do you get what I mean? So
yeah,
only people with massive egos will decide to come to this team and think that they can change it, in my opinion. So for Ten Hag to do that, I feel like it's too much of a risk on his career. And if I was him, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. I don't believe the rumours. The reason I don't believe it, I think the time of it is convenient, isn't it? The time of these positive
I don't believe
rumours.
it either.
Let's list them. Like, let's put a name out there. All the fans, the majority of what the fans want, just to help ease it, because the whole situation at the minute. Let's throw a bit of positivity out there. And I don't believe it. I think it's a PR stunt. I think these rumours are being leaked just to try and appease fans and give fans something positive to cling on to. Because if we're honest, right now there's nothing. There is nothing positive right now. The way that we are feeling right now, there's nothing positive, and I think that's what it is. Obviously, genuine transfer window is here. I think the best thing to appease fans right now would be to sign a CDM, and as a CDM that suits United's profile. But yeah, and talking about profiles of players, Bissouma is a player that a lot of fans wanted at United as well. He's been linked now with Aston Villa, who've just got Coutinho as well. we should be majorly concerned. And we've got the King MB here. He was obviously an Arsenal fan, and he says that if Arsenal make signings, he believes they'll get the top 4 spot. You can't argue with that. With the way that Arsenal are playing at the minute, they've got a style of play. You'd have to say they're starting to develop. Obviously, they've got players like Aubameyang who aren't even getting anywhere near the squad now, because nobody's bigger than club, as just been mentioned by Nippon. Look at the turnaround. We were bantering Arsenal at the start of the season to now. We can't banter anybody. Teams like Aston Villa in and around us, teams like even Brighton, like we should be. That's the level that we are at right now. And that's not even like we're lucky to be where we are in the table. Very lucky, because I think the way that we play, you look at the tempo of games at the minute. And I mean, even like Brentford, Aston Villa the other week, obviously you had the Liverpool Chelsea game as well. You watch games like that, and then you watch United, and the levels are just totally different, mate.
Yeah, I completely agree, to be honest. And you do look at it, because this season we did come on with a high. We won against Leeds, we won against Newcastle. After that, can someone really tell me what brilliant game we have really had? Yes, we've had the odd scrappy win.
We did win against Newcastle and we won against Leeds. But let's be totally honest, if we were playing against better teams, we wouldn't have won like that. Like every game that we have had this season, the other team has had chances. We've been very, very lucky.
Yeah,
the first game against Wolves, when we beat Wolves, we were so lucky to win that game. Do you know what I mean? Like these signs have been coming for a long time.
Very, very scrappy win. A lot of them. Norwich as another one, as an example. And Newcastle, the last game, they was very lucky they didn't even come out with 3 points. And that just shows for me really the mentality overall. The players just don't want to play. I was looking at pictures for the last game. Who we did? I'm trying to think who we played against. Wolves, where Phil Jones played. And we was all the players literally come out and they look like they've already lost the game by the faces. But then it was Phil Jones who was looking dead hyperactive, like buzzing, because he was like, yes, I'm playing after 700 plus games. I scored my last game against Tranmere Rovers. I got this opportunity, and he was a real standout player for me as well.
It showed. His attitude showed.
It shows.
Yeah.
It did really show. And I think if a lot of players' mentalities were just like Phil Jones, we would come out in a much better situation in a lot of games. Regarding the transfer window in itself, who have we really been linked to? We're coming out saying that we're not looking at buying anyone in this transfer window, and then we're linked to Ruben Neves. A lot of people are wanting Ruben Neves, but is he really a CDM or is he a box-to-box midfielder? Just like a Fred and Scott. Even though he's very, very good in his midfield, he's not a proper CDM, whereas we need a CDM like a Declan Rice, a Calvin Phillips, a Kessie. But we're not linked to any of these kind of players at all. And it just feels like this transfer window especially needed to be really looked into, and it's like we're not cared about it one bit.
Yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you to De Gea for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. It's really kind. So he's just on his break as well. So if we drop in and say hello and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I love the Villa said, please play Maguire against Villa instead of Jones. I don't blame you for saying that. I do not blame you. You know, Phil Jones, look, we've had banter on here about Phil Jones, but we have always kept it as banter, because I always feel a bit bad after the banter, and I always say, look, he's still a human being at the end of the day. He's a United player, and I wish him all the best. And I'd love him to come back and prove me wrong. And against Wolves, I've got to say, he was our standout player. He played fantastic.
Phil
as well.
Jones.
To see him emotional at the end as well, and that's what it should feel like to play for United. And I know it's personal relief on him, but fans relate to that.
Phil Jones is not a good player. Phil Jones is not a Man United player, but the morale is so down that he come out bursting with morale, thinking, I've got to prove my point, and outshone everybody, because that's how bad it is right now. I saw a clip where I think someone was shooting for Wolves at the edge of the box. Phil Jones was one of the furthest players away from him, and he's the one that closed him down. Everyone else turned their backs and half jogged towards him, and Phil Jones sprinted at him, and it's just showing. Them are the things that win games. Them are the things that make you battle for games. Them are the things that we need in our midfield to make our midfield fight. And we haven't got it because everyone's walking down out of the tunnel with their heads down.
Yeah. It's shocking because, you know, at the time you don't realise it, do you? But then, obviously, I know it's like taken out of context. And when you see these pictures, the picture of Phil Jones, who is literally head and shoulders above all the other players, that, you know what I mean? Like, it's out of context, isn't it? But when you look at it, you know, like you think all these like body language experts and that, like, it is right. Like when you're seeing the players coming out, like the Wolves players coming out standing proud, like applauding their fans and whatnot, and our fans are coming out with their heads down, like you say, look like They're just got here to do the 90 minutes and go back on. Do you know what I mean? Here to do the shift and go back on. That's all it is like. And it shouldn't feel like that. You're playing for Manchester United. I saw Every did a video earlier as well, talking about United DNA and whatnot. I'm going to say an interesting thing to you now, and I want your thoughts now. I was talking to my cousin on the way home about my cousin that you know, actually, Zeo, talking about obviously the fact that he'd never been to Old Trafford before. He was a Wolves fan. He was in the away end. And he said, like, you know what? Like, because he has got a soft spot for United. He's a football fan and he appreciates history and whatnot. And he said he was surprised that walking into the stadium, seeing how much was dedicated to the likes of Fergie, to the likes of the class of 92. And he was saying, like, you walked into the stadium, it was almost like you were still in that era. Like, you hadn't moved on. Do you know what I mean? And I think he's kind of got a point, though. I mean, when you were rapping before and you were saying about Arsenal history FC, like, are we becoming that history FC? Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't keep relying on our history and our reputation. Like, we've got to act in the moment. And I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like we're going in this spiral and we just keep going in circles. We'll get a new manager in. And I did say we might get a new manager in and go on a new manager bounce. We haven't even done that this time. That's how bad it is. We haven't even had a new manager bounce. Like, Zeo, where do we go from here? And what's your thoughts on that statement as well? Like, are we still living in the past too much?
How have I not noticed that before? I don't know. But we definitely are. Everything is about Roy Keane and Scholesy and how people used to grunt and canter. Not everything.
Nowhere near that.
We don't. Yeah, that's all we talk about now. That's all we've got to cling on to. Now I know how that team that I don't want to mention feel.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just putting it out there. Like, Mais, what was your thoughts on that? That's from, like, obviously an opposition fan just coming for the first time to Old Trafford, never been there before, and that was his observation, and I thought it was really interesting.
It was a very interesting point because, like, when people say, like, oh, Roy Keane was like, you don't hear anything. You say Roy Keane was the best ever CDM. We need a Roy Keane. And when you hear stuff like that about Michael Carrick, and there was actually pictures from the FA Cup going, oh, this was the last time we won the FA Cup, and it was a picture of Michael Carrick and Wayne Rooney. And when you do look at that, you do think, yes, we probably are living in the past because since Jose Mourinho winning the Europa League, we've not won anything at all. There's nothing for me to say, oh my God, last year we've done this, we've done that. We don't see that anymore, and it's really upsetting because only, like, obviously under Sir Alex Ferguson, we was winning. And in a way, it just thinks, was we a little bit, people would argue, was we a little bit spoiled under Sir Alex Ferguson because we were winning all the time, and then once he's left, it's like, we don't know how to lose, and we come in people would argue that we're coming in very, very much sore losers because of that.
And look, I'm not saying we should lower our expectations, and if standards should still be there, we should still aspire to have not Fergie's team, but a winning team. Do you know what I mean? But we need to be looking at, and I hate to say it, but we need to be looking at the likes of City, the likes of Liverpool, and looking at they're playing football and trying to match that. And we're miles off that at the minute. We're absolutely miles away from it. I think that we need to take a long, hard look at ourselves. But yeah, I agree with this. When Ferguson came into the club, he wasn't scared to get rid of players. No one would think he would build his team, and obviously he built his own legacy. And that's what we need now. We need to start from scratch. And I'm at the point now where I'm literally like, just sell them all. That's how I feel right now. Even like Rashford, for example, you know me, I'll defend Rashford. Rashford's been absolutely dreadful. His attitude seems awful, and that's the main thing that hurts. Like, he's just strolling around. That pass that he played was disgusting. Like, it was an easy pass to play. And he's just one. Obviously, there's many still as well, but that's just one example. Like, that's someone who came through the ranks and like that everyone believed he's going to be like the next class of 92. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I mean by the fixation. Like, we overhype our young players as well. Rashford has come into the team, and look, I'm not saying Rashford can't find his feet and find some form, and of course I hope he does sooner rather than later. But it's concerning. That's one of our homegrown players, and he's literally strolling around the pitch, his head's down. What is the issue with Rashford, Maester? What do you think's happening with him?
I really don't know what is going on. I think a lot of people, yes, we do definitely overhype our young players, especially now, because everyone always does refer like, yes, look at it. I think he's just like the class of 92, better than the class of 90 to say that about Rashford, to say about Greenwood. He's even hearing it about Hannibal, who hasn't even made a start for Manchester United this season in the senior team this season. So you do look at it and say, yes, we probably do overhype our young players and we have such high expectations. A lot of people seem to me believe, I think they make a lot of excuses for Rashford to blame his injury last season. Then they blame the Euros final. Then they're literally saying, oh, he's been out and then he's picking up his form again. But when you have got a bad player on the pitch, you don't leave him on for 90 minutes. You've got to take him off, because if you keep him on that pitch, it's going to cost you games. But you do look and think, we might have 11 bad players on the pitch. We can't take all 11 off, but you take the worst 3 off at least. But
Yeah.
Yes, I think when you do look at it and say it's the Euros final, you think, well, why hasn't Phil Foden got this form? Why hasn't Mason Mount got this form? Why hasn't even, for instance, Reece James got this form? You don't see any
Declan
of these
Rice.
players in opposition teams with these kind of forms. So why is it the excuse for Rashford, or Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw to all have this form when you don't see any other players who's played in the Euros at different teams not have this form? You can't make excuses for poor football. Who can't, like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of players they can't even make a pass, and that is basic
5 yards
football
passes.
passing.
Honestly, I could go and watch Ragars Rovers on a Sunday morning after they've been out on a session on a Saturday night, probably not even been to bed, and they can play passes better than what we've been playing, and we're professional football. Like, genuinely, they play with more tempo than what we've been playing. Like, then that's how bad we look at the minute. Like, it's absolutely dreadful. And that's what I mean. It's astounding that we are where we are in the league, because the standard of football has been abysmal. Like, worse than you could even imagine, really, you should see from a United team. But what is causing it? And that's the thing, what is causing it? Acid is spot on. He said Fergie removed Beckham, Keane, Van Nistelrooy because their ego got too big for the club. And that's what it needs now. And that's exactly what I mean. I'm at the point now where I just feel like, you know what, I've got no loyalty to individual players. I want what's best for Manchester United. And if getting rid of them all and starting a clean slate is what's best, we do it. Because it's just so frustrating.
I think everyone that spoke, or you say to them, anyone that speaks from now forward and doesn't follow what the team's doing, blah, blah, whether you want to go or not, you're gone. That's it.
Yeah.
If you want to go, say now and you're gone. Like, if you want to stay and try, as soon as you step out of line, you're gone. We're not putting up with it no more. We're not offering you more money. We're not doing this. You're just gone, mate. Like,
yeah.
I don't care. I haven't picked your mates to play on the pitch with you. You're gone. Like,
I think too many players have been mediocre for too long, but still been kept in the starting lineup, and they've got comfortable. And now that winners have come into the system, with Ralph coming in, his team coming in as well, who are obviously demanding, Ronaldo coming in as well. There's rumours that Ronaldo and Maguire have obviously had a coming together as well, which I could believe, to be fair, but obviously I don't know if it's true. But yeah, it's like winners have come in and they've unsettled this now, because they're obviously, their expectations and the standards are a lot higher. They want to aim a lot higher. And that's what I mean by the mentality. If it is true that our club captain is unhappy with the fact the leader is coming in and is demanding more from him, then there's your issue right there, isn't it? There is the issue. Well, not the issue, but one of the issues right there. Like, the mentality from our captain. Do you know what I mean? If that is the case, it's just absolutely shocking. And we've got Aston Villa, like I say, in the FA Cup. How are you feeling going into that one? I think at the minute we're all numb, and I'll be honest, I haven't really thought about it. I'd rather see us play our youngsters and just see a bit of passion and a bit of fight and a bit of fearlessness from the players, if I'm totally honest. I know that won't happen. Do you think that'll happen?
I think we will play, like, I think it won't be our first team, our most.
Yeah, I think there'll be rotation, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it will be a team that's a bit on it more. I think it will. So I think it will be a nice game for us to watch and a nice bit of relief. But I think as soon as the league comes back, depression's coming back. Until someone's allowed to come in and, like they said, they sold Beckham, they sold Ince. Until someone's allowed to come in and anyone who backchats them, they can just get rid of it. Or if they don't want them, they can get rid of them. Nothing to do with how good they are with PR or how many friends they've got. You can just, if you don't want, you're gone. Until that can happen, it's not going to get fixed, is it? But then again, we're at a stage now where it's like the players might have took it into their own hands, where the bad ones want to leave themselves, because it's like they don't want to be part of it no more. So I don't know. It might get fixed either way, whether United want to keep them or not.
Whichever way, Ralph's got a huge job on his hands, and how he's going to resolve this. I'm just glad it's not me in that position, because imagine trying to resolve this. He's got like 6 months to do this.
Did you hear any of his press conference?
I saw quotes. I didn't watch it, but I have seen a few quotes.
When he was basically saying he wants that, he hasn't got the midfielder that he wants, in other words, but he's probably going to have to work with what he's got. Like, it's just sad.
It is sad. Very sad.
And not saying yes that the players are taking in his philosophy, basically saying that they're listening. They're listening. Like, what's that meant to mean?
Yeah. Curtis said, in fairness, most of the moaners are the ones that are going Martial, Lingard, etc. We'll see who goes. We don't know for certain. And I'm sure it will come out. They'll say it comes out in the wash, don't they? Like, I'm sure the truth will out. And we'll see. We'll see what happens, obviously, during the January window with certain players going and whatnot as well. See if we get anybody in. But right now, as like a player, obviously, and as a manager, we mentioned Ten Hag, but it can't be, don't get me wrong, the money, and obviously it's Manchester United, the chance to play for United is going to take it, but you must have doubts. You must have doubts, like looking, thinking, like, do I really want to come into that circus? As it seems at the minute, like literally, our own club has tweeted that Fred has come out and spoke about the media and stuff, and I just find it a bit mad at the minute. Like, what's going to happen next? Like, it baffles me. But I want to touch on Aston Villa actually.
Oh,
go on,
sorry.
Zeo.
If he does come in, what's he going to do? There's nothing that man can do for me. He's good with his tactics and blah, blah, blah. He's probably a weaker mentality than Ralph is for, like, laying down the fist. Just, this is me guessing, though, if I'm looking at how they talk and stuff. And I just don't see what he's going to do with this current team if he's not allowed to play the players that he wants to play or kick out the players that he doesn't want to. I don't see what Ten Hag can do for me now. Yeah. I was super excited to have him, as you know, in previous streams we spoke about it, but now I'm just like, what's the point?
Yeah, that's just how low we feel at the minute, isn't it? That nobody can miraculously solve this. But I do kind of think that he obviously started a great project at Ajax, signed some great players, brought some young players through. That's the kind of ethos that we want. But I think we do need to start afresh. Like you say, the players that have talked and have been unsettled, get rid. And I totally agree with that. And I have no loyalty to individuals. You know me, I've defended Rashford on many occasions, and I've blatantly come out today and said his attitude has been disgusting, and I stand by that, because at the end of the day, I'm a Manchester United fan. I'm not a Pogba fan. I'm not a Rashford fan. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a Maguire fan. I'm literally a United fan, and I want what's best for my club, and I want to see players at the very least putting a shift in and fighting for the badge, and we're just not seeing that at the minute. And it hurts when you're paying like 40, 50, 60, even hundreds of pounds for tickets, when you obviously buying it off people and whatnot. You go there and it just seems week in, week out that's acceptable. I remember being at the Liverpool game, staying till the end, seeing the fans around me still singing way after the whistle had gone, singing Ollie down the tunnel, singing the players down the tunnel after you just took a battering off our biggest rivals at home. The most embarrassing game I think I've ever witnessed, like in person. And people are still singing. And it just shows like the loyalty from the fans. Fans don't deserve performances like that. Fair enough if you get battered 5-0, but you're going in for challenges and you're at least trying to work. And you know what I mean? You look like you're competitive, you're competing. Not being battered and annihilated in an attack versus defence training game, because that's literally what we've been watching this season. And like I say, I know we've had a few wins. You mentioned the Leeds game, the Newcastle game. I can't remember the last time. Someone said it was 2 seasons ago, the last convincing performance we had. Because every game that we've played, we've had a bit of luck on our side. We have to be honest. We've scraped through. We could have easily conceded more than we have done. Or certain decisions have gone our way. We've even had VAR goals given to us after the full-time whistle has gone. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have had some luck along the way. I do think there's been signs of this coming. There's definitely been signs of this coming. And I think now it's finally come to a head. I think it was always going to come to a head. And I think it has now with Ralph coming in and instilling a bit of expectation and a bit of standards. And some of the players just do not like it. And I'm saying some because it isn't all of them. But like Maisie said, I do think this is causing kind of a division between the fans and the players, because this was a squad that you'd once say, especially like I remember having when Ollie first came about, and I remember saying it on here, like they seemed like a squad of players that we can actually like for once. Like we started to like them, seeing Boye like kung fu kicking Ibra in the change rooms and stuff like that. Like it seemed like positive to them. Where it is now, like it's just sad. It's just proper sad. Like I can't even express it. I haven't really done much content after the Wolves game because I'll be honest, I was just so frustrated, I think is the right word to say at the minute. Just so frustrated with the lack of performance that we've had. And I thought, you know what, why should I commit time to talk about this, to get stressed about it, when they've just gone home in the multi-million mansions and just living up life and just chilling? And do you know what I mean? Like, it's frustrating. And I've got to go to work. It was my first day back at work on a Tuesday morning as well, which made it even worse. I'm thinking, I've sacrificed my last day on my Christmas holiday to come and watch this, to be repaid with a performance just like that. Do you know what I mean? I took my hat off to Phil Jones because he made my journey worthwhile, but other than that, it was just shocking. And I was gutted I didn't get to do a C at Old Trafford.
They better not, Scott.
Oh, they better not, Scott. Yeah, Scott, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. He says, I think they're going to give Fletcher the job. I hope not, but you know what? I've seen worse things happen at United. I don't think even that would surprise me anymore. But surely, like, that's.
You wouldn't do a worse job than what we're actually seeing, though. Let's just be fairly honest. Right now,
it could be anybody, couldn't it?
It could be
Mr. Blobby stood in a dugout. It doesn't really matter.
And no big manager is going to want to attract to Manchester United looking at the mess we're in right now. There's no certain. I think another thing, there's no certainty about the club, because really what the Glazers should have done was to secure a summer manager rather than leave it to last minute. So it gives that opportunity for Man United fans, the Ralph, so he could think, right, I'm going to build this team ready for Poch, ready for Ten Hag, whoever it was going to be. So then it gives that little bit of security to the players, gives the security to the fans, so we know what is going on moving forward. But we don't know anything. So we're going to be in the same mess like when Ollie got sacked, who is going to be the next manager. And this reminds me, I shouldn't really compare it, but when we look at the women's side of the football, there was no security when Casey Sonis got sacked, and we was waiting for weeks to find a manager, which ended up being Matt Skinner. I don't want the same that happen all over again, but I feel like it's going to be the exact same case. We're not going to be able to sign players because the players will think, well, why should I sign to a club with no manager? And there's going to be players who's going to be leaving. Lingard's running out of a contract. Pogba's running out of a contract. They're probably even thinking, why should I sign a contract? I don't know what's going to happen in the summer anyway. And stuff like that is going to be a very costly mistake going forward if we're not looking at the future going forward. They're looking at short-term solutions so they can have that little bit of franchise, so they can make a little bit of extra money for Champions League, European football, but they're not looking at the long-term solution going forward.
In all seriousness, our long-term, you talk about Champions League football. It's looking more and more unlikely that we're going to get Champions League. Obviously, it could turn around, and of course, I hope
Europa League.
Exactly, European total.
League and stay in it.
True, we could win it. That's what I said. Did I not just say it could turn around, Zeo? I always have that little nugget.
No, it doesn't need to turn around. That's the destiny from the beginning. We're going to do whack in the league and win.
That was the plan all along.
Yeah.
To be fair, that would be crazy. After the season we've had to go on, but we have got Mr. Champions League after all. But I was going to talk about him. If it is that we get Europa or no Europe next season, obviously, hopefully that isn't the case. But Cristiano Ronaldo, surely he ain't staying. He ain't going to want to stay and do that. Of course he isn't. So that's another problem that we've created. Do you know what I mean? Like Champions League has to be a priority this season. And whether you get it by winning it, like Zeo seems to think, we've got our fingers crossed to do, or we get it through obviously getting top four, who knows? But and actually to there, Fletcher was previously at Stoke, and I think that his style is definitely starting to rub off then. On United at the minute, the way that then again, probably not, because Stoke do play more accurate long balls than we do, I have to say. We're just not even, I can't even compare our football to anybody at the minute.
I don't know how they're going to do all this
goals and corner goals than us as well.
Definitely. I guarantee that, because we've not got any. I guarantee that. Ragnar isn't building anything. He's an interim and he's going to be a consultant, so he won't have any power and will only make recommendations. Yeah, I'm blue. I do agree with that. But what can he do in 6 months? Do you know what I mean? Is it this case, Theo? Do you remember when we had the conversation when I said to you, and I wonder if this is actually panning out, when I said, if Ollie goes now, would you be happy with us sacrificing Europe and whatnot and just biding our time and then getting our proper manager in Ten Hag?
I did say yes to you as well. I said yes, but the difference in that scenario that we're in right now is the players are being absolute. I don't know what the word is. The players are. I do,
but I'm not going to say it on air. To be fair,
okay,
I do know the word. I'm joking.
I'm going to say babies. It's the cleanest word I can think.
Yeah.
The players are being babies. So if the players were playing under this interim and we still wasn't doing well, but they were trying, and I knew Ten Hag was coming, I would be happy right now. But Ten Hag coming into a dressing room that's already like, when he comes in, 4 players are going to like him and 2 are going to hate him and 6 are going to laugh at him. Like, I'm not on that. I'm not on that at all.
Yeah. Frustrating. Mark said they're bottle jobbers, that's the word that sums him up. Definitely. Ralph's main job will be to make a list who's not good enough and what is needed. And I do think he's coming to shake things up, and he's obviously doing that. But in doing that, I do kind of feel like, as you mentioned, is that a case of just writing off this season then and going again next season? But in terms of European football, when you've got players like Ronaldo in your team, do you know what I mean? Like, you can't do that.
How are we going to get a manager, get rid of the players that we don't want, sort of Pogba deal, bring in the players we do want? When's the World Cup, sorry?
It's not in the winter.
In December.
Oh, it's in the winter. Okay, At least that's not in the way. Because if that was in the way, that's another thing. How are we going to do all of this in the summer? Man United, look how we deal with deals already. I don't see how we're going to do all of this in the summer. I really don't see. I can't see. I'm sorry. The ride we're in through is years now. It's years.
I think we should just list them all on Depop or something and just get, like, honestly, that's how I feel.
Get what we can.
Get what we can. Offers accepted. Just get rid of them. I'll deliver. It's cool. No, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. But obviously, we have got Ralph in charge. I do believe that he's coming in. He's tried to instill a bit of discipline, a bit of high expectations from the players, higher standards, because it hasn't been good enough. It's been mediocre for far too long now, and like I say, certain players have been getting away with it. I do think we needed a shake-up. I feel like this has kind of been boiling and it's now finally come to a head. I'm just hoping it's onwards and upwards from this point now. I'm hoping that, we clear the air, whatever happens, happens. We get rid of the players who don't want to be here, and we start afresh. And we really do start afresh this time, because we keep saying we're going to start afresh and we don't. We keep saying we have a reset and we don't, because we get a yes man in, or we don't fully back the manager, or we don't sign the players that manager wants or what. Do you know what I mean? It's never been a full reset, and I'm hoping that we can do that, because I think it needs to happen. I think that, like I say, we've been on this downward spiral now for a while. I feel like this has been bubbling, and now we're at that pinnacle, and it can either go way down from here or it can go up. And I'm hoping that it's the latter and we are moving upwards as a team. But it's so frustrating as a fan to watch it, to see all these rumours. What I will say is that a lot of them are rumours. You can't believe everything. You can't take it for gospel. The only thing you can take for gospel is when players come out and say stuff, which is why obviously Fred felt the need to do that. And I do respect Fred for doing that. I don't respect the club for drawing attention to it. I think why draw more attention to it, like adding to the circus? I don't agree with that. But I do think fair play to Fred, because at least then he's given fans some clarity on his part in it. Do you know what I mean? Why aren't we hearing from our captain, like you say? Why aren't we hearing from our vice captain? It's one of them. But it's awkward, isn't it? Because I think if you are one of the players who's involved in it, like you said, Zeo, are you really going to come out and say anything about it? Like, you're not going to say anything, are you? So it's frustrating from a fan's point of view, because you're not there and you don't see what's going on. It's all hearsay, isn't it? So just, yeah. All I'm saying, I'm finishing on a positive. Big up to Phil Jones. May you start the next game and then the game after that. Look, honestly, that's how I feel right now. You deserve it. And I was really happy to see him back, and I'm glad that he had a great performance as well to match it. So yeah, it was just really nice to see Phil Jones back. But yeah, fingers crossed we do bounce back United and we have a positive result against Aston Villa. Sorry, I love the Villa in the chat, but obviously I'm hoping that we do bounce back. And we'll see what happens. Obviously, we'll do more content in and around the game as well. Fingers crossed we'll be talking about a win. But yeah, thank you to you two for coming on again. I really do appreciate it. I want to firstly say thanks to Mais. Mais, if you share it at your channel and let people know where they can find you.
Yep. Thank you for having me on again. It's been an absolute brilliant show, even though it was discussing quite a few negative things about the club, but I've really enjoyed coming on. My YouTube channel is Devils United. I do Manchester United content for men and women's football, so you can catch me on there, and you can also catch me on my Twitter, which is at 2_MUFC Mais.
Yep.
Jeez.
Definitely go subscribe there. I'm just reading this here saying I get what you're saying. Of course, I love my club. I love my club through thick and thin. No matter what, I love my club. But I kind of agree with what you're saying. Like, you remember it's like international break, and everyone's like, "Oh, when's club football back?" And the second United are back, you're like, "Oh, when's the international break back?" Like, that's how it feels, isn't it? Constantly. So I get what you're saying, but of course, we all love United, and that's why it's so painful, isn't it? Because you genuinely do love your club, and to see your club in bits the way that it is, it's just frustrating. And of course, make sure you go and subscribe to Maisie channel, and we've also got the fantastic Zeo. Zeo, let people know where they can find you, and obviously, we will be doing, I know we haven't done it, but we will be doing a Taking Names United version. It's all been a bit mad.
Really, man?
It's going to be totally different to the Arsenal one, that's for sure.
Oh my God. At Zeo Leonardo, YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram. Everyone just get prepared for a bumpy ride, man. I think, like Sophie said, it is going to get better from here, but I think there is a lot of more bumps in the road to go. And I think we're going to see some crazy stuff happening over the next few weeks. And in the summer, it's just going to be super mad. But it won't be like this forever. That's not like how life works. Things ain't bad forever. It's not how life works.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Big up for having me on. Always enjoy coming on, and always enjoy being able to have this therapy session.
I felt therapy. You know what? I feel like a weight's been lifted. I've got to be honest. I do feel like a weight's been lifted. I hope people in the chat enjoyed it as well. But yeah, football is and everything. I know it's a big part of our lives, and obviously we all love our club. And like I say, it is painful. I always think to myself, you know what? After a game like the Wolves game the other day, they're still going back to the mansions, whereas I'm still going back to sunny Wolverhampton. It is what it is. Life goes on, doesn't it? We have to just keep moving and hoping that we do turn a corner sooner rather than later. But keep smiling, stay positive. I'm sure the good times will return, hopefully against Villa on Monday, but we shall see on that one. But yeah, guys, if you are new, please hit the sub button on Ladies in Red. I'd appreciate that. Make sure you follow these two as well. They're fantastic. And of course, follow me, Soph Richo, on social media, Soph Richo on Twitter. And what else we got? Soph Richo on Twitter, Soph Richo with a kiss on the end on Instagram. So please give me a follow there as well. Acid's laughing at sunny Wolverhampton. I'm glad you sense the sarcasm in that one. It's never sunny. Zeo will know that as well. Yeah, it's never sunny. No, it's never in Manchester either, to be fair, is it, mate? Never sunny in Manchester, to be fair.
Always raining in
Unusual.
Manchester, I must be honest, but it was snowing today, so that was pretty surprise.
Nice. That's a bit of a change up then. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If I miss your comments, I do apologise. I do not do it on purpose. Just drop a comment afterwards. FIFA is starting back up next week. I've struggled this week. I've had a lot of stuff going on with the new job and whatnot as well. But yeah, back next week. So I promise I'll do a tweet on that one. Most likely will be Monday night. No, not Monday night before the United game. But yeah, guys, take care. Look after yourselves, and I will see you all soon.